prisons are often depicted as grim, harsh places where criminals pay their dues to society. But for some of the world's wealthiest individuals, confinement does not necessarily mean a life of suffering and deprivation. Instead, they have access to a world where luxury and comfort are still at the forefront, even behind bars. These exclusive, high-end luxury prisons cater to those who have the means to afford special privileges, offering a stark contrast to the overcrowded, dilapidated jails most prisoners experience. From private cells with ensuite bathrooms to gourmet meals and spa treatments, the concept of the luxury prison has sparked significant controversy, highlighting not just the power of wealth, but also the inequalities within justice systems around the world. In this documentary, we'll explore the world of luxury prisons, the wealthy individuals who've had access to them, and the controversies that arise when the rich can essentially buy their way out of a harsh reality, even when serving time. The idea of a luxury prison is not new, but it has gained increasing attention over the past few decades. While most incarcerated individuals are subjected to overcrowded cells, basic meals, and limited personal freedom, wealthy criminals and high-profile figures often have the means to negotiate better living conditions, both inside and outside the prison walls. In some cases, these individuals are able to secure private residences that function like prisons but offer significantly more comfort than a typical facility. Others are placed in minimum security prisons or luxury country clubs with amenities and privileges that cater to their wealth. Historically, wealthy individuals have been able to pay for their confinement in more comfortable conditions. In some countries, private prisons and detention centers exist where those with means can purchase superior living conditions. But it's not just about avoiding the brutality of typical prisons. Luxury prisons also provide safety, privacy, and the ability to maintain a semblance of normalcy in the face of legal troubles. As global wealth inequality has grown, so too has the divide between those who serve time in conditions resembling a nightmare and those who get to serve their sentences in lavish surroundings. This phenomenon has become a glaring symbol of the power and privilege that wealth brings to almost every aspect of life, including the justice system. Throughout history, several high-profile wealthy individuals have found themselves in legal trouble, yet managed to serve time in facilities that allowed them to retain much of their lifestyle. From business tycoons to celebrities, their access to luxury prison accommodations is often a direct reflection of their wealth, influence, and ability to negotiate better terms. 1. Bernie Madoff, the king of Ponzi schemes. One of the most infamous names in financial crimes, Bernie Madoff is known for running one of the largest Ponzi schemes in history, defrauding investors out of billions of dollars. In 2009, Madoff was sentenced to 150 years in prison. Despite his high-profile conviction, he was allowed to serve time in a minimum security facility, the Federal Correctional Institution in Butner, North Carolina. While this facility wasn't exactly a luxury resort, it was still vastly more comfortable than many other prisons in the US. It offered private rooms, more freedom to move around the grounds, and access to various privileges that are generally not available in maximum security institutions. Madoff, who was a well-known figure, lived a life of relative ease while serving his sentence. Reports suggest that he even had access to a vast library and other amenities to make his stay more comfortable. 2. Martha Stewart, celebrity scandal and redemption. Martha Stewart, the lifestyle mogul and television personality, became embroiled in a legal scandal after being convicted of insider trading in 2001. She was sentenced to 5 months in federal prison. However, Stewart's confinement was far from the typical prison experience. She was placed in the West Virginia Federal Prison Camp, a minimum security facility known for housing nonviolent offenders. Stewart's time in prison was marked by some unusual privileges. She was allowed to maintain a more structured routine, including access to a workout facility, a kitchen where she could cook, and even had opportunities to interact with other famous prisoners. Stewart's prison experience was not the terrifying, lonely confinement most inmates face. In fact, many saw her stay as more of a professional interruption than a true punishment. 3. The Russian oligarchs, luxury in Russian prisons. In Russia, many of the country's most powerful and wealthiest individuals have managed to avoid harsh prison conditions. For example, the infamous Russian oligarch Mikhail Khodorkovsky, once considered one of Russia's wealthiest men, found himself convicted of fraud and tax evasion in 2005. However, even as a convicted felon, Khodorkovsky was able to maintain a relatively high standard of living while in prison. While in prison, Khodorkovsky reportedly had access to a private, well-appointed cell with a comfortable bed, internet access, and even meals prepared by personal chefs. In fact, many Russian oligarchs who have been convicted of crimes have been able to negotiate their conditions, using their wealth and influence to secure better treatment. What exactly does a luxury prison look like? The amenities and conditions available to the wealthy behind bars vary, but they often feature a long list of privileges that would be unimaginable for the average inmate. These can include private rooms and cells. In most prisons, inmates are housed in shared cells with little space or privacy. But for the wealthy, this is not always the case. Luxury prisons often provide private rooms that resemble upscale hotel suites. These rooms come with comfortable furnishings, large windows, and, in some cases, personal bathrooms and kitchens. For example, the wealthy inmates in minimum security facilities may have access to expansive suites, with flat-screen TVs, luxury linens, and custom decor. The privacy and space granted to these individuals allow them to maintain a certain lifestyle and dignity during their confinement. Gourmet meals. While most prisoners subsist on low-quality, institutional food, those in luxury prisons enjoy access to gourmet meals. In some cases, inmates may hire personal chefs or be provided with a menu of high-end food options, including organic produce, prime cuts of meat, and even specialty dishes from around the world. Inmates serving time in luxury prisons may have the ability to dine on freshly prepared meals, with an emphasis on nutrition and quality. For those used to fine dining, this kind of luxury can make their prison stay much more tolerable. Access to technology and communications. While many prisoners are restricted from using personal electronic devices or accessing the internet, wealthy prisoners often have more freedom. They may have access to computers, smartphones, and private phone lines that allow them to communicate freely with family, business associates, and legal teams. In some luxury facilities, inmates have access to high-speed internet, social media, and even the ability to stream movies and television shows from their private suites. This kind of access allows them to maintain their business operations and public image during their time behind bars. Physical fitness and wellness. Many luxury prisons include gyms, yoga studios, and even spas to help wealthy inmates maintain their physical health. Exercise regimens, massages, and personal trainers are commonly available, ensuring that those incarcerated are kept in top physical condition. This is in stark contrast to the conditions of most prisoners, who are lucky to have access to a basic gym or exercise yard. In luxury prisons, fitness is seen as a priority, and wealthy inmates have access to state-of-the-art facilities to maintain a sense of normalcy. The concept of luxury prisons has sparked considerable controversy. Many people argue that it undermines the justice system and the very idea of punishment. Critics contend that the wealthy should face the same harsh conditions as the rest of the incarcerated population, rather than being allowed to buy their way out of a true prison experience. Unequal justice. In many countries, the justice system is designed to be equal for all. However, the existence of luxury prisons exposes the flaws and inequalities in the system. The wealthiest individuals, whether they are business magnates, politicians, or celebrities, often have the resources to secure more comfortable prison conditions, something the average person could never hope to afford. This has led to questions about fairness, with many arguing that those with money and influence should not be treated differently when it comes to serving their sentences. The idea of a country club prison has been criticized for making a mockery of the justice system, where the wealthy are treated as if they are above the law. The privilege of wealth. For many, the very existence of luxury prisons is a symbol of how wealth and privilege shape every aspect of life, including the criminal justice system. The notion that the rich can live comfortably behind bars while the majority of prisoners suffer in overcrowded, underfunded facilities speaks to the broader issues of class inequality. In many ways, luxury prisons represent the stark division between the haves and have-nots, not just in society, but in the prison system itself. While the wealthy may escape the most brutal aspects of incarceration, the vast majority of prisoners face inhumane conditions with little recourse. The concept of luxury prisons continues to provoke debate. As we've seen, the rich and powerful have the ability to secure a more comfortable existence behind bars, a privilege that is far beyond the reach of the average prisoner. From private rooms and gourmet meals to access to technology and wellness facilities, the contrast between the treatment of the wealthy and the rest of the incarcerated population could not be starker.